The story begins by showing a couple named John and Alice, who used to wake up together every morning like a normal couple. After breakfast, John used to go to his job. John had to work hard to ensure that there was no shortage of anything in the house. Actually, John was an insurance agent and he did his job diligently. One day he was convincing someone on the phone to sell insurance when his supervisor put pressure on him to work harder and give better results. John says that his condition is very bad, so he is not able to work properly, but this doesn't make any sense to the supervisor. At the same time, Alice gives an interview for a job but gets rejected, because he neither had a lot of experience nor a master's degree like other people. When she returns home after losing, her arrogant landlord arrives at her door and asks her for the house rent. Alice checks her account and sees that after paying the rent her account will go to minus. That night, John and Alice attend a party with their old school friends, where their friends appear successful and happy. There John and Alice realizes that their clothes were not appropriate for the party. They meet another couple who had their good friends. They talk to them about their problems only, but one good thing is that drinks were free there, so both of them enjoy the party. The next morning, as the grocery at home is over, both of them decide to go to the city for shopping. While driving outside the city, a truck hits his car due to lack of signal. Luckily both of them were saved, but they had to stay for a while, because only after writing the police report they could have go. While waiting for the police, Alice suddenly notices a roadside antique shop, which was being run by an old woman. Alice sees this old woman picking up a golden pot from the ground and taking it inside the shop. Attracted by this golden teapot, Alice also goes inside the shop. Alice starts talking to an old woman when her phone starts ringing, and her attention goes away. Alice meanwhile starts searching for the golden teapot, and she finds it kept at a place. She touches the teapot and a bad thought comes to her mind. She holds teapot tightly and she runs out of the shop. Then she sits at her work and asks John to drive faster. John is surprised to see his wife stealing something for the first time. And Alice says that this teapot is so cute that she couldn't stop herself. The scene shifts and we see Alice on the phone asking someone to book an interview for the job, and at the same time she starts straightening her hair, and accidentally burns her forehead with the hair straightener. And then the teapot starts shaking. Seeing this, she drops the phone in her hand, and starts moving towards the teapot. When she opens it, she sees some dollars in it. She feels that there is definitely some connection between her burning and getting the dollars, and to test this, she deliberately burns her forehead and the teapot starts shaking again. And this time she gets $700. To confirm this time she kicks the chair hard with her foot, causing injury to his foot, and even more money goes into the teapot. Meanwhile, John is fired from his job. John returns home to find his living room a mess and his wife is in very bad condition. He wakes up Alice and tells her that he has lost his job. Alice gives him tea and says there is nothing to worry about. John thinks Alice is pranking him, but then Alice slaps him hard, and he sees the money coming out of the teapot, and she understands that every time she gets hurt, money will come out of the teapot. John was going through a very bad time, so he did not believe what Alice said. Then, to make him believe, Alice hits John's stomach with her knee and teapot starts shaking and giving money like a madman. Now John is convinced, but he says that all these things can harm them in future, so he thinks of returning the teapot to the antique shop but changes his mind after reaching there, and he takes him to make money. Then he takes it to a TV show called Cash and Trash, where the host puts the price of the pot at $5,000. John doesn't like the deal and takes the teapot back and goes home. Meanwhile, a middle-aged Asian man also watches the show and likes the teapot very much. He marks John's location on a map hanging in his house. Then those people start hurting themselves in different ways and in return earn a lot of money from TEAPOT. But while doing all this, they get pleasure along with pain, because even after having sex in a dangerous way, they get money from the TEAPOT. Alice and John completely change their lifestyle. Everything is now changed, and because of this their mood also start becoming very good. One day, when Alice's mother and sister come to their house, seeing all these changes, they were completely amazed as to how they were managing such a good life in John's ordinary job as a salesman. Everything goes well for some time, but one day suddenly two people who look like thieves forcefully enter their house, and while beating John, they ask about that teapot, and it is said that ever since they lost the teapot, their grandmother could not sleep even for a single day, and due to this shock she died. Alice hides the teapot under the pillow and tells them that they have sold the teapot. Then those scoundrels demand from them the money which they have earned by selling teapot. Alice feels that she has succeeded in fooling them and quickly gives all the money to the scoundrels, and they take the money and go away. Alice and John suddenly become alert due to this accident, and to get more information about teapot, they go to a library and look for books related to it, and they find a book in which magic items and their uses were written. Alice's eyes fall on a page of this book in which it was written about the bad consequences of using this magical teapot. Alice didn't want John to see this page, so she deleted it to protect him from his sight. For a few years, their lives are spent in luxury. They both buy new works, build a new house nearby in a posh area, buy everything from expensive clothes to luxury items, and they invite big people to their parties. Thus their life was going on very peacefully. One day an Asian man rings their doorbell, and when they open the door he says his name is Li Ling, and he works in the theosophical community. He says that he is very interested in old things and especially teapots. John wants to sit with this man at home and listen to him and understand him well. Then Alice says that if these people told this man about the teapot, then along with the teapot they will also lose all the things that they got from the teapot. The layman tells them that they are in danger, but they do not listen to him and close the door in his face. After Li Ling leaves, the owner of his old house, Arnie, enters their house and asks them how poor people like them became rich so quickly. Actually, Arnie was drunk at that time and acts like a fool. Then suddenly he snatches the teapot from his hand and runs away. John tries to snatch the teapot back from him, but the teapot bounces and falls in the middle of the road. Ernie drives his car over it but doesn't scratch the teapot at all. Seeing this, Alice feels relieved, but she also finds it a bit strange that even after a truck passed over the teapot, nothing happened to it. To find out, they go to Li Ling. Li Ling tells them that teapot cannot be destroyed and the only way to get rid of it is to hide it in a place where no one can find it. Then he tells them the history of this teapot and says that the teapot has been entering through the hands of the best and the worst people of his era. Li tells them that if there is even the slightest evil inside them, this teapot will make them grow. He tells them that this teapot was last seen in a Nazi camp years ago. Hearing all this, John wants to give the teapot to Li, but once again Alice stops John from handing over the teapot to Li Ling. She says that we are both good people and we know how to control ourselves. John becomes agree at this. One night the two thieves who had troubled them earlier enter their house again, and while stealing, they talk to each other that John and Alice are very stupid. So they hide their money in their toilet. John and Alice hear it from their bedroom and come out to see them. And when they ask the reason for this, both the thieves say that they have not come here to steal teapot because they know that keeping this teapot for themselves involves a lot of trouble, because this teapot completely controls whoever it is near and the person goes crazy with greed. Both of them had seen all this happening with their grandmother. That's why they deliberately left this teapot with John and Alice, so that they can easily get the money they earned after suffering so much. John and Alice tries to stop them and a fight starts between them, and John and Alice faint, and when they regain consciousness, they see that now the teapot has started paying less money than before. But in this process, Alice and John have given themselves so much trouble that they want to take help from someone else to earn money from the teapot. Then one day both of them go to the biker bar and ask who is the meanest person there. The owner of the bar points towards a man and John starts fighting with this scoundrel, because he was hoping to get the teapot kept in his bag will give him good money. He gets injured in this fight, and Lee comes to him again and says that teapot is slowly destroying him and his wife. At the same time Alice notices that teapot gives money even when others get hurt, because a skater falls in front of her and Alice gets money from teapot. Alice shares this to John and they start attending every painful event so that teapot can make them more money. Slowly and gradually teapot truly begins to eat away at Alice's conscience. While driving for a day, Alice tells John sitting next to her that the whole world is full of pain and if they want, they can earn money through teapots from everywhere. She was lost in her thoughts when she saw a homeless man passing by and pressed the accelerator with the intention of running him over. But John quickly turned the steering wheel and saved the man from dying at the hands of his wife. After this, Alice and John start fighting among themselves. Alice blames him that he does not understand her intentions and does not support her. Saying this, she starts crying. Meanwhile, she sees that teapot has also given money on her emotional pain. Now she literally insults John to confirm this, and his belief becomes stronger because teapot gives the money again. Now Alice tells John that he should also say some things to her that will hurt her. At first John did not want to do this, but after doing it against Alice, he passes, tells her that he had kissed a stranger and that this made her sad. But this time also teapot gives a lot of money. From that day onwards this becomes their daily rule. They insult each other every day and tell such secrets to each other that the other person gets shocked badly. And teapot gave maximum money. Gradually Alice realizes that she has told all her secrets and now there are no more secrets left. Then both of them stop hurting each other and start hurting others. Those people hurt others emotionally by sharing their postal secrets with their close friends and relatives, and in return they used to earn huge income from teapot. In the greed of earning money, Alice goes to such an extent that she plans to reveal her own sister's dark secret to her husband, that her first child was not her husband's but someone else's, and according to this plan she is about to reveal the secret to everyone when she changes her mind after seeing her sister's face, and she regrets that she was about to destroy her own sister's house. When they return home, John praises Alice that she is a good person and she did a great job by saving her sister's house. So Alice says that to reach the target of $1 million, now they have to play one last round and then they will stop. But John says they already have enough money and don't need to do all this. But Alice doesn't listen and says that there are a lot of drug dealers in the playground and if they kill even one of them, not only will they become rich but society will be good forever. John is not happy with this, but he is also unable to say no to her. Then together they dig a deep grave, but suddenly John changes his mind and decides that he will not do all this anymore and asks Alice that she have to choose between John and the teapot. But Alice doesn't respond, and John frustrated goes to Lee and asks for his help. Leek says that you are too late. John requests him to borrow his teapot. He says that it will be of no use in this way and he will have to hand over the teapot to Lee willingly. That night, when Alice goes to her bedroom after taking a bath, she sees John sitting by the window on the second floor. He tells her that after he leaves, she will return to the pot. Alice stops him from jumping, but he jumps. Alice thinks of her husband and runs down. Seeing John unconscious, she starts crying. Soon John comes to his senses, and he asks Alice if she is ready to give teapot to Lee, and she says yes because she has learned the lesson now. The next day they decide to give Lee a teapot and they both sleep, but mysteriously when Alice and John are sleeping in their room, they hear some noise from downstairs. John goes down to check and finds that his old landlord, Arnie, has stolen the teapot and taken it with him. Ernie hurts himself to see the magic of teapot and his girlfriend also hurts herself for money. John and Alice wanted to give the teapot to Lee, so both of them go to Arnie's house to get that. A fight starts between the four of them. Meantime, both the thieves also go there with the greed of getting the pot. Alice remembers that when the two thieves had come to her house to steal the money, they had touched this pot and that is why they were attracted by the teapot and had come to steal it. It was the good luck of John and Alice that the rest of the people were killed by wounding each other with pistols and rifles. Seeing the field clear, John and Alice pick up the teapot and take it to Lee, praising them. He says that even the king and queen nearby could not escape the effect of this pot, but both of them did this. Here movie ends.